Picture this. You see all these gurus on Instagram flexing their lifestyles, talking about how they've made it and how all you need to do to make it as well is to send them a DM of a repetitive word that everybody else is falling in line and doing. Now, in regular grounds, I'd have zero issue with that, and of course, it's not exactly this trivially terrible thing to do. They're just raising an audience, and understandably, an audience is a useful thing to productize. Now, the most important lesson I can teach you about business in the modern age, and as a teen who grew into it, I'm now 20 and I've been doing digital products for the past 3 years, and I've tested many, many methods. And I can tell you for sure nothing quite beats service, because service sets your reputation on the right line to do everything else. Now, let's say you want to offer more of your services to clients, get them interested in AI automation since that's the recent wave everyone's on nowadays. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but LangChain's been around for quite a while and now people are discovering N8N like it's the holy grail. And I suppose in some ways it is. It's easy. You just attach a node to another node and then to another node and then it ends. And that's great. But this repetitiveness in hearing N8N all of the time would personally deter me as a client from ever choosing you as someone to do business with. The reality of the world now is that most people are being algorithmically programmed to want things they don't even want. To make that more clear, when you go on all these pages with all these feeds, it's called a feed for a reason, and I've brought this point up before, but I'd really like to set it in clearly because it's becoming even more relevant now. Especially now with the age of AI, people's questions can become instantly answered. And I can't even begin to explain how much that kills long term curiosity. And perhaps we'll see some benefits come of that. Of course, people are going to be more productive. But once they relay thought and discovery to AI is when we're all doomed. And that, my friend, is where you gain your advantage. The reason for that is since people don't actively go looking for things anymore and expect AI to do it for them, you'll be able to inform them. You'll be able to make sure they find out about all these new things and play on their fear of missing out to ensure you get a yes. Think about it. For real estate agencies, you could easily set up a customer support bot on the website with VoiceFlow, which I will leave a logo off right here so you know what it looks like. And it will have voice capabilities, it will have a workflow just like N8N to do certain actions and even to process payments. Now, I don't want to feature Blabber because that's not interesting to anyone. But if you write the narrative, hey, late at night, you guys don't have anybody in office. And I know you guys do everything on the books because my friend owns a real estate agency and he genuinely did have a hard time transitioning into this new digital age where everything's on computers. And I think there's a real case to be made for being able to answer calls when they're coming in late at night. Nobody's in office from China, Dubai, Japan, and all these other investors who want to put their money into your projects, but you missed them because there simply wasn't anyone to pick up the phone. What if I could tell you that there will always be somebody online, on site, making sure that the phone gets picked up, which means that multi-million-dollar investment into one of your bespoke headlining projects gets met at quota by some very happy, healthy Asian investors. Now, I would make that sound like a dream to you, and I would do it for no setup fee. All you pay is your credit usage, and 175 euros goes into my pocket per month, and that's it. No setup fee. You frame an offer like that, you'll get an answer, and it will be the answer you want and the necessary one. And from there, you've piqued their interest. You've shown them a case of where that's genuinely useful and how little they need to commit for it. €175 per month is the same I would charge for a web design because you are competing on price at the end of the day. But what you need to understand, and let me draw the comparison, you might be starting a watch business, reselling, and you realize that your margins are razor thin. And you made €175 off of a watch that costs 30,000 or so in its prime, and you have that 175 now. It's the equivalent of selling that 30K watch in Rev once a month. And that's off of one contract. That's one customer support bot. And yes, the first time you do it, you might make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay. That's what AI is there for. And most of all, I would recommend Claude beyond GPT because you can go into a level of detail that GPT simply doesn't provide you with. In fact, I would rank it Claude, Grok, and then GPT because GPT is so generalized. It won't go into the details as much as you want, even if you ask it to. It won't think the extra step. So if AI tools are going to be your product or your service, then you have to make sure the case is hyper clear for the client so they understand how useful it really is. Not what it can do. Who cares what it can do? Any AI service at its core is to replace something a human being has done or is doing in their business. Just outline the role of the person that it replaces or assists and show them how it can do it faster, better, all the time. There's your key selling point. Beyond N8N, I would recommend VoiceFlow. Take a very deep dive into that. Use Claude, use GPT to really learn the basics. N8N, of course, is great. Or Make, it doesn't matter, but I would strongly recommend N8N. And then make a GitHub account. A lot of the automations you guys are building, or you see people on LinkedIn flexing, or you see guys on Instagram posting reels about this super cool Jarvis system they built. They didn't actually build. There's entire GitHub repositories. If you just look up N8N, you'll find a full list of workflows that somebody else took, downloaded, and made available to the public. The beautiful thing about GitHub is somebody has already probably made the project you're talking about. And if you're lucky, it's under the MIT license, which means just like Roy Lee, you can take an idea and build an entire startup out of it. But you'll be smarter because instead of going looking for venture capital money, you'll bootstrap all the way. And your business will 100% be yours. Get good at selling the narrative. Get good at providing the service. And then once you've racked up enough where it's getting taxed a little bit too much, set up your business in the US, specifically Wyoming or Delaware for a C Corp, or Dubai or Malta or Cyprus or Romania, but a US LLC is genuinely the best way to go, in my opinion. It's what all of my rich business buddies have done, and we've done the same, so I highly recommend you play that card too. So, I dropped a lot of sauce in this video. And if I were you, I would rewatch and note some things down. Because most of the people you watch online are not just going to tell you straight up the best way to do it. And I have no reason to hide this information. It might not even matter in 20 years when the whole financial system crumbles. But until then, I like to make sure that everybody is playing with the same deck. Because if they have that, then all those gurus you see online pitching whatever, whatnot service or course, they're going to be alienated from their product. And in some way, that means I win just as much as you. So, good luck.